Listen, we've got 47 guests about to join me now, and they're all Man City. Please welcome friend of the show, Nigel. He's back along with Rob and Sam. You lovely man, Nigel. Welcome back, Rob. How you doing? You lovely man. How you doing, Sam? Welcome to the Lime Green.
Thank you very much.
Sit over there, mate. If just all budge up. Not that I don't want you sitting next to me, of course, but we want to be able to see your lovely grill. Brilliant. Before we start talking Man City, have we got a Skype caller? No, but we've got some Chelsea information for you. Take a look at this. Your big competition, I'm just hearing, have launched their new strip. This is breaking news. Can we see it on the big screen? It's much easier to see. Let's get your thoughts, Nige, on Chelsea's new strip.
It looks very familiar, doesn't it? This is this Nike sort of going for the, you know, the different sort of coloured sleeves and so on. It's not dissimilar.
Yeah.
Yeah? But, you know, who cares? It's Chelsea.
This is a mock-up, Nige, is what it might look like. They have signed a deal with Nike, and this is an artist's impression of what the new strip may look like. If you Chelsea fans are watching, I'd love to get your thoughts on this. What do you think of the new strip as it looks? And here's the second option as well. How many options have we got? Is it just... It's just between these two. So which is your favourite? Let us know. Get in touch. Rob, what do you think of the proposed new strip?
The problem for Chelsea is the players that put the shirts on rather than the shirts. But we're not in any position to talk about strips, given the dreadful third kit that we've just... Looks like a firework about to explode.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Rob, that's the strip. If you've got thoughts on that, if you're a Chelsea fan, what do you think of us? Let us know. But what do you think of this? We've got a massive Chelsea broomer. Now, this is an absolute fact that betting has been suspended on Conte being fired at Chelsea. Now, we believe this coincides with a Tuchel falling out with Borussia Dortmund. Sam, if that rumour is to be believed, can you actually see Conte being fired by Chelsea this far into the season?
Unbelievable, Jeff. I mean...
Oh, quality! Hey, what a compliment. I have been compared to Jeff Stelling many times. I don't see it myself, but thank you. Touch me, baby.
I mean, I've only heard about this very recently, so...
What, like now?
Like when we came in here.
Yeah, okay,
so,
okay.
But yeah, no, the idea that Chelsea could sack Conte is extraordinary. Like,
it's absurd, Nige, is it not?
Yeah, I've only just heard it tonight as well, and I suppose, like many of these things, we don't know the full story. So has something gone on behind the scenes? It's new news to me. It does seem very strange. I mean, he was the next Guardiola, wasn't he?
I mean, was he the next Guardiola? Get in touch on that. I mean, I tell you what, forget the strips, nice as they look, of course. What are your thoughts on that rumour? We're hearing bets have been suspended by one particular huge betting agency on Conte being fired. We'd love your thoughts on that. Tweet at FANTV UK or Skype, call us at FANTV channel, email joinin@fantv.me. Nige, before we talk about anything else that's coming up between now and the weekend regarding Manchester City, we have to talk about Joe Hart. He was sensational for England, man of the match.
Brilliant, absolutely outstanding. But we've always said he's a great keeper. We know that. And most City fans will be sorry to have seen him gone. But we have to. We've had this conversation before, Justin. We have to trust Pep. You know, we've put our trust in Pep. You know, they've had a conversation. Again, as I said before, we don't know what's gone on behind the scenes. He wants his man. He identified him. He wants he wants 11 midfielders, as we've said before. Yep. And as far as Joe's concerned, you know, we love Joe. He's won everything with us, and we were sorry to see him go. But we can't keep harping back, sort of saying, you know, we want Joe Hart back. We don't. You know, he's gone. He's moved on. We've got a new keeper, and we're putting our trust in Pep.
Rob, first time we've met, of course. It's the first time I've asked you this question. Did Pep let him go too early?
No, because I think Pep made a judgment about Joe Hart probably before he came. And I think you can tell from the way that Bravo plays that it's a very different style of football. And therefore, I respect what Pep has done. I respect the way in which he and Hart have handled it, because they've done it in a gentlemanly way. And every City supporter is in debt to Joe Hart for what he's done for us. I mean, he's saved us time and time again. But that's not the issue. The issue is the style of goalkeeping and being the extra defender.
On that point, though, Rob, it's fair to say he's not been there long, but Torino seems to be working out nicely for Joe Hart in terms of his performance for England. Certainly coming off of his line more than we've ever probably seen him do before.
Yeah, I mean, managers have to have players that they trust and get on with. And I felt in the pre-season that the body language between Joe Hart and Guardiola wasn't right, that for some reason they didn't bond together. And therefore, it's not a surprise. And let's remember, you know, Bravo has had 106 caps for Chile. He's no novice. He is a very fine footballer in his own right.
But if you say that the decision was made by Pep...
I don't know that. I'm suspecting
sure,
that.
But if that's a suspicion that you have, and I'm sure it's a suspicion that other Manchester City fans share, with that in mind... how could there be chance to bond if Pep had already made his mind up before he came to the club?
Well, yeah, I think it's a fair point. But what I didn't see in Hart was any attempt to moderate his style during the pre-season. And it may be that Pep got frustrated with that.
Yeah.
So I think it's inevitable, and it may not be bad for both parties.
Sam, did you watch the England game? Joe Hart, I mean, the stats are clear. 4 stoppages, I think it was, including one world-class save. He'll probably never make another save like that in his entire career. Did you watch the game and think we want him back?
Sadly, I wasn't able to watch the game, but I mean, I agree with what's been said. You know, we absolutely love Joe Hart for everything he's done for the club. He was practically part of the furniture, but Pep is ruthless and he knows the style that he wants and has delivered him so much success. And if he's made that decision that, look, as good as Joe is, he's just not right for this style, and he's brought in a great keeper in Bravo, then we've got to respect that decision.
I don't know if it's my imagination, and you mentioned about sort of goalkeepers sort of coming out. I've seen evidence, I'm sure, of all goalkeepers spending more time out of their box this season. Is it just my imagination, or are other teams following the lead of Pep Guardiola? I'm sure I've seen more goalkeepers spending more time outside of their box.
Well, I think in many respects there'll be a lot of other teams following the lead of Pep Guardiola, none less than Ronald Koeman, who was waxing lyrical in the press conference. In fact, a lot of disgruntled Everton fans online today saying that they were disappointed that so much of Everton's press conference ahead of the game at the weekend was spent talking about Pep, but they're clearly friends, and Koeman's clearly a big fan, Nige.
Yeah, he is, and they are friends, and that's got, you know, just because you're playing each other, they're mates. And I heard your conversation about going out for a kebab and so on. I'm sure they probably will. But you know, they room together, I think, and I think, you know, Koeman took Pep under his wing as a young teenager, and clearly there's a lot of history there between the two of them, and they spent time together, and there's a deep-rooted respect for both of them.
I think this is a big cultural change that Pep is bringing to British football. You don't have to be an enemy of other managers in order to fight your corner. And we don't see that with Mourinho, or we didn't see it with Ferguson. And I think that is a civilising impact.
Rob, do you watch The Simpsons?
Yeah.
Has anyone ever told you before that you're the spit of Mr. Burns? You see it? You've got Mr. Burns on the lime green sofa. Mark, don't you see it? Oh, Mr. Burns. Do you watch The Simpsons?
Yeah.
You must have had that before.
Yeah.
I'm now gutted.
Don't be gutted, Ron. You even sound like him. Mark, do you see it? We've got Mr. Burns on the lime green sofa, everybody.
Mr. Behrens.
Say it again.
Mr. Behrens, that's my name.
He's even called Mr. Burns. This is unbelievable. OK, Rob, let me ask you about Aguero.
Yeah.
Why on earth is he still taking penalties?
Because Aguero is a great player who knows how to learn from his mistakes.
He's missed 5 this year so far, including one for Argentina, which could mean the eventuality is that Argentina do not qualify for the next World Cup.
I don't mind him practicing for Argentina so that he gets better for City. But what I do know is after he missed his 2 penalties, he came back and scored a perler in the next game. And this is an extraordinary footballer who lives on confidence. And if he's happy to take the penalties, then I think that's fine.
He lives on confidence. What happens if he's dropped by his country for the next qualifier? That surely will affect his performances for your club.
Not necessarily. I wouldn't underestimate the fatigue of having to travel to South America to play games. It is very tiring, and coming back late as they used to do. I don't think they have done this time because they've been injured. I don't think that's a problem.
We've got a quick break coming up, but asked if it would surprise him if he was dropped by his country for the next qualifier. Aguero said no, because I'm not doing things right. So at least he's honest, Sam. Right. I tell you what, I think it's time for another vowel. I'll have a foul, please. I love this feature so far. I think you've got a couple of E's. It's a tricky one tonight. Let's have our next vowel, please. It's an A. It's tricky. Sam, you're closest to the little monitor there. Without revealing who it might be, do you think you've got an inkling?
Not a chance in hell.
No. Rob, any idea?
No, afraid not.
Have you got a scrappy do, Nige?
No.
Let's have another vowel. Let's have another one. Does this make... Oh, it's another E. Come on. You're killing us with this. You're killing us. I'll tell you what as well. Let me just, if you think you know, tweet at FANTV UK. Should we have another wash bag clue? I don't know if we have another wash bag clue. You've had 3. Let me just recap, because I think somebody's got the first name right of the foul. Shall we reveal the first name? We're not going to reveal it, but I'm hearing in my ear that someone has got the first name, but bizarrely, not the surname. Matt Murphy said it. Matt Murphy said it. OK. Celeb wash bag. Let me reiterate the clues. You've had, I think, 3 so far. One clue was this. The last clue was some croutons. The first clue was a commemorative Canadian Millennium coins. Let's have another clue. Have a look at this. It's coming up very, very shortly. If you think you know who the wash bag belongs to, tweet at FANTV UK, hashtag celebrity wash bag. Here's the next clue. It's the flag of Denmark. Yes, yes, clearly the flag of not Denmark. it's the flag of Iceland. Yes, yes, no, it's not the flag of Iceland. It's definitely the flag of Denmark. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, so there it is on the big screen. It's the flag of Norway. I love it. I'm brilliant with my flags. I love my flags. It's the flag of Norway. Or should I say, Norway man. Norway man. So it wouldn't have worked with Iceland or Denmark. If you think you know who the wash bag belongs to, get in touch. Let's go back to the sofa. Nige, I want to ask you about John Stones, rising star at Manchester City. You paid a whopping $50 million for him back in the summer, August to be more specific, from Everton. How do you think he's shaping up for you?
I think it's been one of the buys of the season. You know, we struggled last season with our centre-backs. You know, Company was injured. Yep. Mangala, Otamendi had a very mixed season. And, you know, he's a footballing centre-back as well. So he absolutely fits into the Pep mould perfectly. Sure. And he's had a fantastic start to the season. I think he's been our man of the match in a number of games.
Rob, do you think he'll establish himself as an England mainstay?
Well, he oozes quality. I mean, it's just thrilling to watch him. Yeah. And he doesn't look out of his depth at any level. So I imagine that he has a good chance of becoming the England captain.
Do you really think so? Yeah. We've got Jordan Henderson, of course, at the moment, temporarily wearing the armband. You don't think he'll keep hold of it?
Well, I don't think Henderson is in Stones' class as a footballer, in my view. And I think that Stones has got youth on his side. He's very level-headed. And I think he's a better bet. OK, let's inject some more Manchester City into the chat. It's friend of the show, David, Skyping from his man cave. Dave, you there, baby?
Evening, gents.
Let's hear it for David. You lovely man. Dave, just to remind everybody, in case they've forgotten, I never will. Last time you were on, you licked the dog, and that's not a euphemism. You literally licked your pet dog. Is it Molly?
It's Molly Zabba, yeah.
Molly Zabba, of course it is. Where's Molly Zabba tonight, Dave?
Molly Zabba is cuddled with Mummy upstairs at the moment because they can't stand the sight of Daddy on the telly.
OK, you've got to get the chips again, haven't you?
Absolutely.
David, an absolute pleasure. I've missed you the last few weeks. Where have you been, brother?
We've been out to the Middle East, actually, to Dubai and to Abu Dhabi.
Well, what have you been doing?
Look at Sheikh Mansour's back garden.
Dave, just very briefly, I just want to ask you about Joe Hart, because that's what we started the chat with earlier on with our Man City guests. He pulled off that one particular outstanding save for England the other day. He made 4 stoppages. Do you think he was jettisoned too soon by Pep?
Well, I'm very much in the stable with Nigel in that we all love Joe Hart. I wish he'd stayed personally, but we have to trust Pep's judgment. And I'm led to believe that he'd studied Joe prior to coming to City. He'd looked at his distribution, which is an integral part of the new style of City's play, coming from the back with Bravo. And Joe was adjudged not to be up to the job. So it is a sadness that he's gone, but we have to move on. We all wish him every success at Torino. Were he ever to come back, it would be extraordinarily surprising. Most City fans would be pleased if he did come back in a sweeper-keeper role. But I think we have to move on and wish Joe all the very, very best.
OK, David. John Stones, your £50 million man, signed from Everton. Everton are coming to the Etihad on Saturday. It's going to be a big game, obviously. Here's the view from one Everton fan that caught my eye online today. This is a direct quote. John Stones should not be acknowledged by clapping or booing. He is nothing to us. As his performance for England shows, he is still just an overrated, unneeded, Cruyff-turning centre-back who thinks Pep Guardiola has adopted him. It would be great if Lukaku plays and bullies the myth. Strong words, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, that doesn't sound like a bittersweet toffee at all, does it? I think that one will come back to stick in the back of his throat after Saturday.
You think so?
I think so. Stones has been quite imperious for us in the short time he's been at City. He's still got a lot to learn. He acknowledges that himself. But again, who's got the best tutor in the world? He's got Guardiola. He's looking good for us, and I think he will become one of the classiest centre-backs in the world in due course. So I think it's money well invested, albeit it was a lot of money.
Can you credit Pep for John Stones' improvement, David?
I think we probably can, even at this early stage. You only have to look at the influence he's had on Raheem Sterling. De Bruyne has gone to another level already. And, you know, you look at Pep Guardiola's career, so many great players acknowledge him as bringing out another 20-30% in their play. There's only been 1 or 2 players who have sounded bitter about Guardiola in all his time at Barcelona and Bayern. Ribery was one of them. But no, I think Pep has had an influence, and you see him coaching from the touchline in the game. He's not admonishing Stones, he's giving him, albeit animated, but he's giving him advice as to how to improve in the course of each game.
Let me bring the sofa in on this, Sam. Let me start with you. It's going to be, I mean, obviously, Everton are coming to the Etihad, but nonetheless, that section of away fans, they're going to give John Stones a difficult ride, aren't they? Yeah,
well, I mean, that's the Premier League, you know, that's like what we come to expect. But this is what John Stones has signed up for, and he's got to deliver. And I'm sure, you know, we've got every confidence in him. He's going to do that. He's going to play the ball well, make those key tackles, and we're going to see the best of him when he plays against Everton.
Mr. Brun, sorry, Rob, spotlight. Spotlight on him though. Is he going to handle the pressure okay?
Well, that's part of character building.
Sure.
I think it's pathetic when supporters of clubs do this to players. I saw it done to Gareth Barry at Aston Villa in a disgraceful way. It's been done to Raheem Sterling. If you watch the game on Saturday, you won't find City fans doing that to Gareth Barry.
Sure.
I think the important thing is that Stones is not deflected by that, and that his colleagues support him in getting through it.
Well, just to reiterate then, Rob, what do you feel when you hear words from an Everton fan like John Stones should not be acknowledged by clapping or booing? He is nothing to us.
Well, get a life. You know, they've got their 50 million quid.
Yeah.
They didn't think that when he played for them. It's just hard cheese because they lost him, and you know, just get on with it.
David, can you see Pep doing his old pal Koeman any favours come Saturday?
Absolutely not. We've been blooded once when Tottenham took us down, and Tottenham deserved to win that game. I mean, on previous shows, the question was, will anybody beat City? we all knew somebody would. I wouldn't say it's a blessing in disguise, but, you know, at least we've got that monkey off our back. We don't want to make a habit of it, but no, I think Everton will give us a stern test, but I think City will come through. And then, of course, we'll move on to the biggest game of the season thus far against Barcelona next Wednesday.
Let me ask you, David, about Aguero. Obviously, on fire for you. 11 goals in 8 games, but not producing for his country. He missed a penalty. Now, looking ahead, that could see Argentina not qualifying for the World Cup. Surely, if that happens, if he's dropped for the next game for his country, that's going to have a knock-on effect for his club, isn't it?
I think it'll actually be a benefit because, from my own personal perspective, I detest international football because invariably we get players come back injured, Aguero being a case in point. And if he has the rest, he's better to go for City. I mean, Sagna's been injured for France. He's out for 3 weeks. We missed Aguero for a long period last year because he was injured. Can I just go back to the penalty points that you were making earlier about Joe Hart and Sergio missing penalties? Well, Sergio,
sure,
yeah, he has missed a few, but certainly so has a certain Lionel Messi. He's lost a lot of penalties. Missed a lot of penalties for Barca in the past.
Yeah.
You only have to ask Joe Hart because he saved one of them. And then you got Claudio Bravo at City, who has saved a lot of penalties for Chile against Argentina in 2 Copa America finals, where Chile have beaten Argentina, which means Messi and Aguero losing out.
But
Aguero's got great confidence. He's not going to be bothered by that.
Sure. Let me just ask Nigel. 5 penalties missed in 2016. That's too many, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but I don't think it'll bother him. I really don't. You know, I think it's, great players, miss penalties. But I think you've got 2 choices here. Either you say, well, don't take another penalty again, or you just get back up again and take the next one. I think that's the category that Sergio sits in. OK,
David, I love you, baby. We have to move on, but let me just ask you for a prediction. Do you think Everton will trouble you at the Etihad come Saturday?
They'll trouble us, but not enough, and I think City will win. Can I just say one final thing before I go, mate?
Yes, please.
And that is a quick tribute to one of our favourite players, your team and mine, Jerry Gow, who sadly passed away this week on Monday after battling lung cancer.
Absolutely.
A real terrier, tenacious player for both clubs, and sadly missed, having lost his battle to cancer on Monday.
Absolutely. Let's hear it. Absolutely. David, it's an absolute pleasure to speak to you, as always. I'm sorry we didn't get to see Molly this evening, because I really do like it when you give her a cheeky lick.
OK, thanks for doing so, guys.
We have had an incorrect washbag guess. No takers, no winners on the washbag tonight, so we're going to wrap it up. The incorrect guess was this. I think it was on the Twitter, I'm not sure. Yes, it was. Matthew Clarkey, thanks for your guess. Washbag, is it Lewis Hamilton? It's a cracking guess, Matthew Clark. Lewis Hamilton, of course, is a famous centre-forward for Accrington. No, it's not right, Clarkey, but thank you for your suggestion. I can reveal, see how I do with this name. Tonight's celebrity washbag belongs to Mattia Stefanelli. Mattia Stefanelli. Nige, did you have a clue?
Yeah, I knew it, actually.
Rob,
I knew it, yeah.
you knew it? Rob knew it. Rob, did you know?
Certainly not. I've never heard of Mattia Stefanelli.
Rob's never heard of... Oh, what's up with you, Rob? What is up, Sam? Mattia Stefanelli. Can you believe Rob's never heard of him?
Oh, come on, Dad.
Scored the first away goal for San Marino, Rob, for goodness sake, Rob. Unbelievable. Everyone knows Matteo Stefanelli is. He scored the first away goal for San Marino in 15 years, for goodness sake. Did he not, Matt? He did. Unbelievable. I can't believe, and he loves a crouton as well. That's why we had croutons in the bag, because Mattia Stefanelli loves cuppa soups. I've absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. Listen, rest assured, I'm a dirty klepto, and I'll tea leaf another wash bag on next Tuesday's show when I'm back. Can I have a foul, please? Let's have a look. Yes, do we get another vowel, or are we just going to reveal the answer? Let's find out who it was. We've got a winner for this one. This is lovely. Let's have a look. The footballer we were looking for, involved in a famous fouling incident, was Steve McLaren, Derby County's new manager. We have to mention that. I know you're Man City. Steve McLaren going back to Derby after he walked 17 months ago. He can't, like, Candy Crush that much, can he, Nige?
I don't understand it at all. It's
Bizarre?
It is a bit bizarre. I really don't understand that one.
Rob, have you got any idea?
Well, I think he did well for Derby, and I think that in hindsight they see that probably they made a mistake in allowing him to go. So I think it makes sense.
Does it make sense to you, Sam? Steve McLaren back at Derby County? It sounds crazy to me.
It's an interesting choice, but you've got to remember that Steve McLaren's got loads of international experience. You know, he's been around the block. So, I mean, if there's a chance he could really produce some good results for Derby, I think.
In general terms, though, Nigel, his reputation as a footballing manager has been shredded. Do you think he's got any chance of not only succeeding at Derby, but repairing his damaged reputation?
Well, he has got a chance, of course. But I think you're right. I think, you know, his time as England manager was you know, he didn't cover himself with glory.
Yeah.
He may have some success at Derby. He may do. I just think it's an odd place for him to go back such a short time after leaving.
How do you see it? Derby County fans, get in touch, tweet at FANTV UK, or Skype call us, even better, FANTV channel. I would love to get your opinion on Steve McLaren's reappointment after 17 months of parting company with Derby County. He's back there again. What are your thoughts on that? And also, let's do a shout out to lovely Russell, our West Ham fan. His lovely daughter Lauren is watching. Let's give Lauren a wave. Your dad was awesome. And I just want to say one more time, the best 22-point plan to rescue a club, Matt. No, honestly, the best 24 to 26-point plan in rescuing a club I've ever heard in my entire life. It was sensational. We've got a couple of dog puns in as well. Hashtag dog puns. Have a look at these. This is from James Baker. Has tweeted us. Unbelievable. Franz Beckenschnauzer. Quality. Franz Beckenschnauzer. And we've got another one as well. Hashtag dog pun. From United London FC, our lovely friend Rob, Paul Pogba and Danny Shih-Tzu. That's lovely. Danny Shih-Tzu. How about that one, Rob? Danny Shih-Tzu.
Yeah, very good.
A ringing endorsement there from Rob. Okay, before we move on to talking about other things, just very briefly on the Joe Hart situation. That save, it was from a Yasmin Kurtic header, I think it was. Was it, Mark? Was it a header? That wonderful save. Kurtic said this: "My header was in the net, and then it wasn't. I'm surprised he's not still at City." Now, if we're being honest, we were discussing Joe Hart is a big one for me tonight during the break, and my suggestion is that something must have happened there, Rob, in order for Joe Hart to leave, albeit on loan, in the manner that he did.
But objectively, Joe Hart has always been a sensational stopper of shots. That's never been a weakness of his, apart from at the European Championship.
Yeah.
So it's not as surprising that he makes world-class saves. The issues are about how he distributes the ball, how he polices the penalty area, and there are weaknesses there. And so, you know, I respect what Pep has done. I think he's done it with great integrity and difficulty.
Okay, let's move on. Let's discuss Kevin De Bruyne facing a race against time to get fit for the Everton game. Nige, can you give us an update?
Yeah, well, from what I've heard is, yes, he's probably ahead of schedule. People were talking about maybe ready for the Barcelona game, but not for Everton. Yeah. I suspect it's probably still going to be too soon. I'll be very surprised if he's in the 11. He may appear on the bench, but to have him back is going to be, you know, I think we've missed him. He's been one of the sensational finds of the season. He's one of the people who's benefited enormously from Pep's style of play. He's always been a good player, but I think he's been tremendous for us this season.
Sam, would you agree, one of the finds of the season for you?
Yeah, no, he's an unbelievable talent. Like, you could see it when he was at Wolfsburg, for example, that season he had, where, for example, he helped demolish Bayern Munich, the score being 4-1, I think, at Wolfsburg's arena. And for us, he's been such an important player. And as we've said, you know, Pep's taken him to another level. So we're desperate for him to come back as soon as possible, particularly for a game like Barcelona.
Let's look then beyond Everton to the Barcelona game. If there is any danger this Saturday for Pep, could it be in the fact that he might already have an eye on the Barcelona game and he could therefore take his eye off the ball when it comes to visiting Everton?
listen, we know we're in 4 competitions, and he's going to have to rotate his squad. It's going to be very interesting, you know, what sort of side he selects on Saturday for Everton. You know, he can't pick the same 11, I don't think, for both games, and it's going to be quite interesting to see exactly how he lines us up. I'm not sure what it's going to look like.
Should Everton beat you, Nigel, will you be more or less surprised than when you lost to Tottenham?
I'll be more surprised. I think Tottenham, you know, are looking really good under their manager. I think I rate him very highly.
Yeah.
You know, they finished well last season. So, as Dave said, you know, that we had to get that monkey off our back sooner or later. And you know, having won 10 straight games, you know, it wasn't a huge surprise. I think Spurs, as Dave said, you know, they deserve to win.
Obviously, though, Rob, looking more fallible since that defeat to Spurs.
Well, I think that we should recognise that Pep has played it superbly. I think he's only made one mistake, which was to keep company on the pitch for too long in his comeback game. But he did say right at the beginning that the key thing is to play in a way that makes the supporters proud. It's not about winning or losing. And then he has said that the test will be how we respond when we've been beaten. Yeah. So I would be surprised if there isn't a reaction on Saturday.
Does it remind you of Kevin Keegan in his first spell at Newcastle?
Who, Pep?
Yeah, that's sort of, maybe not in the style of play, but in attitude. I thought there's an element of Kevin Keegan that if don't worry if they score 2,
Mr.
we'll
Burns,
score 3.
yes. Kevin Keegan and Pep, no.
You don't see that at all. Not just in football and attitude. He likes to play football. He wants to score goals. He attacks. He attacks. He attacks.
But he's got a bigger brain than Kevin Keegan had in terms of football.
You're saying Kevin Keegan has a tiny brain?
I didn't say that at all. I said he has. Guardiola has a bigger brain.
Yes.
And I think we're seeing a team which is being transformed very quickly from what it was under Pellegrini in a very exciting way.
Well, I can tell you, Rob, that Kevin Keegan is a massive fan of the show. And I'm just hearing in my ear that he's messaged the show to say, just to confirm, I have a very average-sized brain. So a little bit of controversy there on the lime green sofa tonight. How has he been able to transform Manchester City in such a short space of time?
Well, the first thing is that because they're pressing, immediately that they lose the ball, they're putting their opponents under greater pressure than they did last season. They are running further than they did last year, so perhaps 20% further during games.
Yeah.
And individual players who were not performing to standard last season, like Sterling, for example, De Bruyne was in and out last season. They're playing out of their skins, and I think they love playing for Pep. And the great thing is that Aguero's playing well, but Pep says he can play better, and he can help him play better.
Is the current Barcelona team as good as they were under Pep Guardiola's management? Sam?
That's a really big debate.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to say because, you know, this Barcelona team are so good, particularly in terms of their counter-attacking ability, which maybe they didn't quite have under Pep's reign. But at the same time, you know, we're talking about that first 2008-2009 when Pep's team won the treble in his first season as the manager, and that team were just so strong on so many levels, and that when it's so difficult to compare the two. But like it's.
Well, Nigel, let's not forget, according to Koeman, Pep had the best ever Barca team. He made it 200%. Yes, hashtag Barca. The best Barcelona team. He made it 200% what it was, which is clearly too much percent.
It doesn't make any sense at all. Anybody who talks about 200%, I'm not going to listen to. Yeah, it's 100%, 100%, 100. It's a complete nonsense.
It's a complete nonsense. Let's get the result of the poll. Poll 3. Let's remind ourselves of the question. Here it is on your screen. Will Pep regret sending shot-stopper Hart on loan, or will Bravo prove himself the better option for City's style of play? Can we get it on the big screen if we can? 71%, I think it is, says Hart, and 29% says Bravo. 71% Hart. We've got like a minute left of the show. Nigel, your thoughts on that poll?
I think it'll be proved to be wrong.
Rob?
You have to trust the best manager in football to make these decisions, and he's made it, so we have to move on.